I'm joined by Harry Littman of the Talking Feds YouTube channel, the Talking Feds podcast. But Harry, that really sells you short, although I'm a fan of both of those and I want everyone to subscribe. You clerked for 2 Supreme Court justices. You were a leader in the Department of Justice. You know Merrick Garland. You know leadership at the Department of Justice. So when it comes to the MAGA Republicans and Donald Trump spreading this lie that in connection with the search warrant executed on August 2022, there was some sort of specific kill order directed at Donald Trump, when in fact what they were referring to is just the standard protocol and policy of use of force in general that applies to all search warrants that are executed at Mar-a-Lago, or that are executed in general, whether it's Mar-a-Lago or elsewhere. And I was thinking about why Trump would want to unseal confidential records in this Mar-a-Lago document case, when a lot of what was unsealed, when you look at the facts, is actually very damaging to Donald Trump. Additional photographs of Waltine Nauta, Donald Trump's valet, moving boxes around at Mar-a-Lago. You see him like a bad comedy movie, like holding the boxes and moving it around before ultimately
Nauta looking at the camera, right?
At the camera. But ultimately what Trump and his people wanted, why they attached it to this frivolous motion to dismiss, to get Cannon to make it public, was they wanted to say, to play the victim, that that they were trying to kill Donald Trump and Biden was trying to kill Donald Trump. It's infuriating to me, but with your leadership at the Department of Justice, with all you know about the protocols, I could only imagine what you think about that. I want to hear your thoughts about it.
Yeah, I mean, it really is. It's not just complete, like flat out, Orwellian lie, like 180 degrees, but it's dangerous. I mean, the AG, he's not, Merrick Garland, as everyone knows, he gets criticized for this, is very much not going publicly after Donald Trump wants to stay away. But he made a point of saying this is extremely dangerous. First, let's just talk about what this is. So, when you do a search, you do it in force. You want very much, it's essential that you come in and have an immediate, force that overwhelms the people being searched, because otherwise it's to avoid violence, coming in. If there's like 2 of you, that's when somebody who has a gun could try to shoot, and also to avoid the loss of evidence. Okay, so you come in force, and not just force. There's something hidden about it. You've seen FBI. It's like boom, fast, hard, and really decisive. And the piece of paper that Trump is using to say they were putting the hit on me personally, the Biden DOJ wanted to kill me, by the way, he wasn't even there, is actually a piece of paper that is meant to advise the FBI about not using deadly force, because they're armed and all these things coming in. But it's a reminder to them that only if they are threatened with loss of life or limb should they be doing this. And we want to remind you of it because you are coming in armed, etc. So completely boilerplate, not at all any different for Donald Trump, who wasn't there. Totally deceptive. But worse than that, Merrick Garland has to go into correct, because if people who are going to be searched, and when a search party shows up, thinks these guys are here maybe to kill me, that's the exact kind of situation that can end in tragedy. What you want, what anybody has to want of any stripe, unless you're just don't want government power or think it's all the deep state. When a magistrate has said you can go in and search, it's essential that you deploy full official. That's your job now. Now you search, you freeze the place, you get the evidence. If you do it wrong, a court can later sift it out. But if the last thing you want is some kind of tragedy on the scene, and having Trump, tell this total fantasy that, as I say, not just wrong, but 180 degrees wrong. He's taken a piece of paper that is showing how people are supposed to act to avoid violence, and using it to tell his, many of whom are crazy kind of supporters, that they were coming in to kill me, is, really pernicious, and he has to know it's false and the like. So even by Trumpian standards, a bad, nasty, damaging and you can see that because Merrick Garland had to go out and address it.
And with search warrants, they have to be signed off by a magistrate.
Right.
You have to have a probable cause there's a whole process before these search warrants are signed off on, before they're executed. And then here, that process was then challenged, not through the normal course
No, yeah,
with
now
the
we have, right.
magistrate. Trump then went and filed the lawsuit against the Department of Justice, against the United States. That case was assigned to Judge Eileen Cannon the first time around, where she tried to assert equitable jurisdiction. It was then overturned by the 11th Circuit. And, Trump would have had to make some showing of extraordinary government abuse. He had the opportunity to make that showing. It would be the most unprecedented situation ever, because this idea of equitable jurisdiction being asserted never had ever happened before in anything remotely like this. But he had the opportunity to litigate this, and it went to the 11th Circuit. The 11th Circuit ruled against him, overturned Judge Eileen Cannon twice. I want you to comment on that, but Judge Eileen Cannon's lesson from that was not, oh, I should do the right thing so I don't get overturned. Her lesson was, if I don't make rulings and I screw with the scheduling, then you can't appeal me to the 11th Circuit. So I'll just mess around with this with paperless scheduling orders and not actually make rulings, so that the 11th Circuit can never comment on my conduct in a timely fashion. So it's just one of those things that's just not the way our system. It's an affront and it's an attack on the tapestry that's been based on good faith and norms and laws that have held this messy but our system together.
And not so, look, not so messy. Two more points I want to make. One is that Trump is touting that he is going, turnabout as he sees it is fair play. And if he sees the DOJ as countenancing a system where they go, to execute a search warrant looking to assassinate political opponents, God knows what he's going to say. You can really see him, if he wins the presidency, coming in and saying, good for this is what Biden did to me, and this is what I'm going to do to those guys. And one other point, we've all seen the movies, right? Jodie Foster, she's all alone going in. You say, no, don't go in. It's going to end. And in fact, what happens in the movies is then there's a terrible showdown, and maybe she shoots the guy, maybe not. It's exactly what you don't want to happen in real life. And to not have it happen, you have people with guns, but 20 of them who come in and immediately take over the place and freeze, everybody. That's actually a recipe for trying to keep things safe, trying to keep tragedies from happening. And Judge Cannon, don't get me started, but I'll just say your point is the really right one. She is. People go back and forth. Is she, out of her depth, or is she, in the tank for Trump? And something that is sort of example one in the latter is she's very squirrely and apparently deliberate in, on the one hand, delaying the case, which is such a strong case. We just found out 2 days ago that 3 times after the search warrant is served, which is after they don't comply with the subpoena, which is after 15 months of dithering, they still came up with more documents at Mar-a-Lago, including in Trump's very bedroom. But anyway, she does have this great skill, if you want to call it that, of delaying things without giving an actual ruling that Jack Smith could then take up to the 11th Circuit, and combined with the misadventures that you detailed there, Ben, have her potentially recused. So it's, he's had so many different kinds of breaks, but this is one, because I think that the most important sort of for our national reckoning case is January 6th, but this is an open and shut case that nobody could try to say, wouldn't be brought, whoever it was, and his misconduct is so apparent, and it's a damn shame that it's not coming to trial before November. If Eileen Cannon has anything to say about it, and so far she does.
Well, we have a big week approaching in the Manhattan
Closings.
criminal
Yeah, I'm going back to
trial.
New York Monday.
Going back to New York, see if there's a verdict this week, and we'll see if there is a verdict, how that impacts everything, because I think that where we are right now when we're recording this live, where we're going to be in 2 to 3 weeks, almost regardless of the outcome, is going to be a dramatically different world. And I think that depending on the outcome, that could be dramatically different world. But we will see, and we appreciate.
And I'll look forward to talking to your fantastic Midas Mighty after that happens.
Well, Midas Mighty, make sure you subscribe to the Talking Feds YouTube channel. That's where I get, you want to know where I go to get my legal news when I'm not reporting on it? It's the Talking Feds YouTube channel. Subscribe right now over there. And as always, we appreciate you, Midas Mighty. Harry, have a good one. Safe travels.
You too. Happy holidays. Thanks for tuning in. If you enjoyed this video and other Talking Feds content, please take a second to like and subscribe. Talk to you later.